So, lads, Angel Reese did what everybody expected Angel Reese to do. Basically gave the finger to Candace Parker during her retirement ceremony.
Angel Reese just set the WNBA world on fire with comments that have everyone questioning whether she deliberately threw her teammate Camila Cardoso under the bus on national television. What started as a post-game interview has exploded into the biggest teammate controversy the league has seen in years. And the fallout is reshaping everything we thought we knew about the Chicago Sky's future. Picture the scene. Angel Reese, fresh off another crushing defeat in what's been a nightmare season for the Chicago Sky, sits down with reporters. The cameras are rolling, the mics are hot, and instead of delivering the standard, "We'll learn from this" response, she drops a bombshell that would send shockwaves through the entire organization. Her words were carefully chosen, but the message was crystal clear. Not everyone wearing a Sky jersey today will be back next season. The way Angel Reese delivered those comments was almost surgical in its precision. She talked about giving everything in the final 9 games, emphasized how quickly basketball can be taken away from you, and then added with just the right amount of edge. I'm sure that all of us are going to be on this team next year together. But here's the thing. The way she said it, the pause before all of us, the slight emphasis on sure. It was like watching someone twist a knife while smiling. To really understand why this moment has become such a massive story, we need to rewind to where it all began. The Chicago Sky's 2025 season was supposed to be a turning point. After landing Camila Cardoso with the 3rd overall pick and Angel Reese at 7th in the 2024 draft, expectations weren't just high, they were through the roof. These weren't just lottery picks. They were transformative talents who were supposed to usher in a new era of Sky basketball. Angel Reese came into the league with superstar written all over her. Her college career had been legendary, her social media following was massive, and her personality was magnetic. She wasn't just a basketball player. She was a brand, a movement, someone who could fill arenas and dominate timelines. The Sky knew they weren't just drafting a forward, they were drafting a franchise face. Camila Cardoso, on the other hand, represented something different, but equally valuable. The 3rd overall pick brought a level of efficiency and consistency that coaches dream about. Her college stats were incredible, her work ethic was unquestionable, and her ability to impact winning was proven. While she might not have had Angel Reese's flash, she had something arguably more important: reliability. But here's where the story takes its first dark turn. The 2025 season didn't just fall short of expectations, it was an absolute disaster. That 13-27 record isn't just bad, it's historically awful for a team with this much young talent. Every loss seemed to magnify the problems. Every missed shot became a symbol of what wasn't working, and slowly but surely, cracks began to show. As the losses piled up, something interesting started happening in the media coverage. Angel Reese became the story. Win or lose, she was the one in front of the cameras. Her quotes made headlines, her highlights went viral, and her social media presence kept growing. She embraced the spotlight in a way that few rookies ever do, turning herself into must-see TV even when the team was unwatchable. Meanwhile, Camila Cardoso was putting together a quietly impressive campaign. Those 15.7 points and 8.1 rebounds per game don't tell the whole story. Her shooting percentage was elite, her defensive positioning was exceptional, and her basketball IQ was off the charts. She was doing everything coaches ask for, except generating headlines. This disparity in attention created an undercurrent of tension that fans could sense even if nobody was talking about it publicly. Social media became a battlefield of competing narratives. Angel Reese supporters pointed to her ability to create her own shot, her rebounding tenacity, and her competitive fire. Camila Cardoso's camp countered with efficiency stats, plus-minus ratings, and winning basketball plays. The locker room dynamics during this period must have been fascinating. You had Angel Reese, who never met a microphone she didn't like, constantly being asked about the team's struggles. You had Camila Cardoso, who preferred to let her game speak for itself, watching her teammate become the face of a failing franchise. And you had everyone else caught in between, trying to figure out where their loyalties should lie. Then came that fateful night when Angel Reese decided to address what everyone had been thinking, but nobody had been saying. The timing couldn't have been more loaded. The Sky had just suffered another embarrassing loss, playoff hopes were mathematically dead, and everyone knew changes were coming. Front offices don't keep rosters intact after seasons like this. When Angel Reese made those comments about teammates potentially not returning, she wasn't just making an observation, she was sending a message. In professional sports, when a star player publicly questions the roster composition, it carries weight. General managers listen. Coaches take note. Other players start updating their resumes. The immediate reaction was explosive. Twitter went into overdrive with fans dissecting every syllable. Sports talk shows cleared their rundowns to debate what Angel Reese really meant. Blog posts analyzing body language flooded the internet. Within hours, Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso were trending worldwide, and not for their on-court performances. What made this even more compelling was how perfectly it fit into existing narratives about both players. Angel Reese had already established herself as someone who spoke her mind, who wasn't afraid of controversy, who understood that sometimes being talked about is better than being ignored. This felt like a calculated power play from someone who knew exactly what buttons to push. For Camila Cardoso, this public call-out represented everything she seemed to stand against. Here was someone who'd done everything right, showed up, produced consistently, avoided drama, suddenly finding herself at the center of a controversy she didn't create. The injustice of it all resonated with fans who value substance over style. The ripple effects were immediate and far-reaching. Other Sky players found themselves being asked to pick sides in interviews. Coaches had to address questions about team chemistry instead of game planning. The front office watched their carefully laid plans for the offseason get complicated by a narrative they couldn't control. But this drama extended beyond just Chicago. Around the league, general managers started making phone calls. If Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso couldn't coexist, maybe one of them could be pried away. Trade machines started churning out possibilities. Fan bases began dreaming about adding one of these young stars to their roster. The timing of this controversy also managed to overshadow what should have been one of the most exciting rookie races in recent memory. Paige Bueckers had been absolutely phenomenal, putting up numbers that would normally dominate headlines. Her 44-point explosion was the kind of performance that creates legends. Sonia Citron was showing the versatility and scoring touch that makes coaches redesign their entire offense. But instead of celebrating these rising stars, the basketball world was consumed with parsing Angel Reese's comments and predicting Camila Cardoso's response. The Rookie of the Year race, which should have been the feel-good story of the season, became a footnote to locker room drama. This situation also highlighted the evolving nature of professional sports in the social media age. Angel Reese understood that controlling the narrative is sometimes more important than controlling the game. Her comments weren't just words. They were a strategic move in a larger game of public perception and power dynamics. The pressure on Chicago Sky management became immense. They couldn't just ignore this and hope it went away. Every decision they made moving forward would be viewed through the prism of this controversy. Keep both players and risk a toxic locker room? Trade one and potentially lose a future star? The margin for error had completely evaporated. For the coaching staff, this represented a nightmare scenario. How do you draw up plays for two players who might not trust each other? How do you preach team unity when your stars are feuding through the media? How do you develop young talent when the spotlight is on personality conflicts instead of player development? Angel Reese's position in all this was particularly fascinating. She'd established herself as the alpha, the one willing to speak uncomfortable truths, the player who wouldn't just accept losing quietly. But there's always a risk when you position yourself this way. Today's truth teller can become tomorrow's troublemaker if things don't improve. The question everyone started asking was whether Angel Reese had overplayed her hand. Yes, she commanded attention and drove narratives. But at what cost? Would free agents want to play alongside someone who might publicly question their value? Would coaches want to deal with someone who created media firestorms? For Camila Cardoso, this controversy presented an opportunity disguised as a crisis. She could have fired back, created her own headlines, and turned this into an all-out war. Instead, her continued silence and professional approach started winning her supporters who appreciated her dignity under fire. As the regular season wound down, every game became a microscope on their relationship. Cameras caught every interaction, every high five or lack thereof, every moment they did or didn't make eye contact. Basketball became secondary to body language analysis. The advanced statistics told an interesting story too. When Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso shared the court, the Sky's offensive efficiency actually improved significantly. Their styles, different as they were, could complement each other perfectly. But chemistry isn't just about X's and O's, it's about trust, communication, and shared goals. Looking ahead to the offseason, the Chicago Sky face decisions that will define their franchise for years. This isn't just about managing two talented players, it's about establishing a culture, setting expectations, and building something sustainable. The wrong move could set them back half a decade. The free agency implications are massive. Which veterans would want to wade into this situation? Which rookies would want to start their careers in such a pressure cooker? The Sky might find themselves having to overpay for talent just to convince players that the drama is worth enduring. There's also the matter of the next draft. The Sky's front office will be scrutinizing every prospect, not just for talent, but for how they'd fit into this complicated dynamic. Do you draft someone who aligns with Angel Reese's aggressive approach? Do you find players who match Camila Cardoso's steady style? Or do you try to find someone who can bridge both worlds? The financial implications can't be ignored either. Both Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso are approaching contract decisions that will shape their careers. Their market values are being determined not just by their statistics, but by their perceived ability to coexist with other stars. This controversy could cost one or both of them millions. For the WNBA as a whole, this situation represents both a challenge and an opportunity. Drama drives interest, and interest drives revenue. But there's a fine line between compelling storylines and destructive controversies. The league has to balance promoting personalities with protecting team chemistry. As we look toward the 2026 season, the resolution of this conflict will be must-watch television. Can Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso find common ground? Will one of them be wearing a different jersey? Will the Chicago Sky somehow turn this controversy into a catalyst for success? What started as post-game comments has evolved into a defining moment, not just for two players or one team, but potentially for the direction of the entire WNBA. Angel Reese lit a fuse with her words, and now everyone's waiting to see what explodes. The coming months will reveal whether this was the beginning of the end for a promising partnership or the rocky start to something special. Either way, the Chicago Sky will never be the same.